good news, and it's a milestone that we should celebrate in the history of humanity. And the reason for the emissions peaking is that solar is increasing so fast, so it's reducing the need for coal. And we saw, for instance, last year 400 gigawatts of solar was installed in 2023, which was 80% up from 2022. That means that coal is actually peaked and is behind us. So increase in solar is one reason for this. The other reason is that last year we saw also a massive increase in new EV sales, 50% up from 2022. So with that, we see also oil will peak in about 2 to 4 years, because this takes diesel and petroleum out of road transport.
Remi, there's so many questions to ask you. I don't know where to start, but let me just start with this one as well. Clear up the elephant in the room about coal.
Yeah.
China is doing brilliantly on solar, on EVs, on wind. Yeah. But China is still creating more coal plants than pretty much everyone else put together. 95% of new coal power plants are coming out of China. Fourfold increase from 2019, I think, was the figure earlier this year as well. So, great, let's applaud China for where they're doing well. But on the coal front, it's abysmal, isn't it?
Yeah, but we see also that solar is actually edging out coal in China. And according to our forecast...
70 gigawatts of new capacity in China this year, I think it is.
But if you look at the totality, they will peak emissions before 2030, most likely in 2028. So yes, they are increasing, but they are not peaking in China yet. But a big reason for this is China. 57% of all solar and wind installed last year was in China. Wow. 63% of all new EV sales was in China. And then on top of that, you have all the exports that you explained, which is also helping to reduce emissions elsewhere. But even though we have a peak and the decline is not fast enough for Paris, meaning it will not be a net zero system by 2050. It's more a 50-50, as you explained earlier. And that is pointing to a 2.2 degree future rather than a 1.5 degree future.
Can I just hop into the EV story? Because China's adopting, as we know, and there are so many different EV players in China creating so many options. Where is the West? Because the narrative that we keep talking about is that adoption is fading, some that appetite is slowing. What are the implications of those types of behaviours?
Well, I think, the tariffs that has been, put on some of these technologies and also all their protectionist measures will either delay the transition or it will make it more costly, because building up alternative supply chains will take a longer time, and it will be investments required over time. So there will be important national security, energy security and economics.
You're saying Europe is sabotaging its green ambitions?
No, I'm not saying it's sabotaging. I'm saying that there is very difficult decisions to being made to take energy security, national security and economics kind of considerations. And there is, a lot of investments being needed to build up an alternative supply chain. But it's a balance of many factors.
I want to talk about supply chains, because you mentioned that cheaper batteries are key to the transition that we're seeing here in solar and in EV.
Yes.
We've just had a huge announcement that Rio Tinto is taking over Arcadium, a lithium player, and there are concerns that the West does not have enough lithium in its supply chain, that China is sitting on the bulk of assets in this space. How significant is this news flow today?
Well, I think lithium is very important for many things, including batteries. But I think in the long run there will be other also minerals that can be used in batteries, and there are new technologies being developed. So over the next 10-20 years we will see alternatives to lithium, but lithium is really important for many of the energy transition technologies that we see today.
What are the other minerals? What do we think about in terms of where else some of the major resource companies will pivot to?
Well, there could be, I'm not an expert on batteries, having said that, but there are other technologies like steady state and other minerals that can be used. I'm not an expert.